You know that feeling on New Year's Eve? When everyone talks about fresh starts and hope. In my house, hope was only for my sister. I was just the ghost who lived in the hallway. My biggest win in life was supposed to change that. Instead, it showed me exactly how invisible I really was. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from in the comments. My name is Kai. I'm 22 years old. My life had one rule: don't be a problem. My sister, Leah, was the main character. Her laughter was the soundtrack. Her wants were the family schedule. Me? I was quiet. I studied. I cleaned. I made sure my existence didn't cause any trouble. I think that was my only job. My escape was school. Books made sense. Numbers and facts didn't play favorites. I worked like my life depended on it. Maybe it did. Then, the state announced the New Year's Future Prize. For the top graduating student in the entire state, they would reward their family. Not just with a trophy. With a fully furnished house. A new car. A cash prize that could change everything. They said it was to honor families who support education. I almost didn't try. What was the point? My family didn't support me. But a tiny, stupid part of me thought, what if? What if this was the thing that finally made them see me? So I tried. I gave it everything. And I won. My name was called. I was the top student. The ceremony was December 28th. It would be on every major news channel. The governor himself would hand over the keys. My hands shook when I called my mom. Mom, I did it. I won the prize. The house, the car, you and Dad need to be there. It's on TV. There was a long pause. I could hear pop music in the background. My sister's music. Kai, that's nice. But today is not good. Leah needs a new outfit for the big New Year's party downtown. We're walking out the door to go shopping. My heart sank into my shoes. Mom, please. It's national TV. They're giving us a house. Your father and I will manage that later, she said, her voice already distant. Leah's need is right now. We'll celebrate you at home. The call ended. I called my dad. Same answer. Your sister is the priority today, Kai. Be reasonable. We will see about your school thing tomorrow. There was no tomorrow. The ceremony was today. I stood in my dorm, wearing my only good dress. Around me, my classmates buzzed with excitement. Their parents were helping with jewelry, taking photos, crying happy tears. A girl from my economics class smirked at me. Hey, Kai. Big day. Let me guess, your parents are running late again. A few people snickered. They had a nickname for me, the orphan. Because in 4 years, no one from my family had ever shown up. Not for one event. Not once. The shame was a hot, heavy blanket. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk onto that national stage alone. I couldn't be the orphan accepting a family prize. Then I thought of her. Ms. Alma, my next-door neighbor growing up. The woman who would sometimes leave a plate of cookies on our porch for the kids, but always made sure I got the first one. The one who told me, you have a good mind, Kai. Don't waste it. It was the most desperate Hail Mary of my life. I called her, my voice cracking. Ms. Alma? It's Kai. I need a huge favor. I have no one to come today. Can you just stand next to me? So I don't look alone. I expected her to say no. To be busy. Instead, she just said, tell me where, baby. I'm on my way. She arrived in her best dress, the one she wore to church. She took my arm. You hold your head high, she whispered. You earned this. The ceremony was a blur of bright lights and loud applause. When they called my name, I walked up with Ms. Alma. The governor shook her hand. You must be so proud of your daughter, he boomed to her. Ms. Alma smiled, tears in her eyes, and said, I have always been proud of her. They handed me the keys to a silver sedan. They gave me a giant check with a number that made my head spin. They presented the deed to a 3-bedroom house. Cameras flashed in our faces. It was live on the new news. In my pocket, my phone began to vibrate. Once. Twice. Then it didn't stop. A constant, angry buzz. I knew who it was without looking. The people who had chosen a shopping trip over my future had just seen their future given to someone else on national television. And the quiet ghost they had ignored for 22 years was finally, publicly seen. The car ride home with Ms. Alma was quiet. The keys felt cold in my hand. The envelope with the deed and the check sat between us like a sacred object. My phone finally stopped buzzing, but the silence felt heavier. I had just lived my greatest dream and my worst nightmare at the same time. We turned onto our street, and my breath caught. 2 news vans were parked outside my parents' house. Reporters with microphones and cameras were milling around. They weren't there for my parents. They were there for the heartwarming story of the hardworking student and the devoted single mom. Ms. Alma gripped the steering wheel. "Oh, child. What do we do?" Before I could answer, my parents' car screeched to a stop right behind us, blocking us in. My mother erupted from the passenger seat. Her face, usually so perfectly composed, was twisted with a fury I'd never seen. She marched over and yanked my car door open before I could lock it. "Kai, what is this madness? Who is this woman? Why is she on television taking what belongs to us?" My father was right behind her, his eyes locked on the envelope in my lap. "Give me that," he demanded, his voice low and rough. He reached for it. "This is a family matter. That money and that house are for this family." A reporter, sensing real drama, rushed over with a camera. The red recording light was on. "Sir, ma'am, are you relatives of the winner? Can you share your reaction?" My father's hand froze in midair. He saw the camera. He saw his reflection in the lens. His angry mask melted into a stiff, painful smile. "I'm her father. We are so proud. This is a wonderful family moment." It was the most disgusting thing I had ever seen. My mother forced a smile too, putting a trembling arm around my shoulders. I stiffened. Her touch felt like poison. The reporter shoved the microphone toward me. "Kai, can you introduce us to everyone? This must be so emotional." I looked at the camera. I looked at my parents' fake, desperate smiles. I looked at Ms. Alma's worried, kind face. All the years of being invisible, of eating alone while they celebrated Leah, of crying in my room without a single knock on the door, it all rose up in my throat. But I didn't scream. My voice came out quiet, clear, and steady. It was carried by the microphone for everyone to hear. "This is Ms. Alma, my neighbor," I said, stepping away from my mother's arm. "She is the one who came today when I had no one else." I turned to face the camera directly. The state gave this prize to reward a supportive family. My parents were at the mall buying my sister a new dress for a party. They told me my ceremony wasn't important. Ms. Alma is my family today. So, by the rules of the award, she is the rightful recipient. The silence was absolute for 3 whole seconds. Then, chaos. The reporters erupted, shouting questions at my parents. "Is this true? You skipped the ceremony? Why wasn't your daughter a priority?" My mother's fake smile shattered. My father tried to block the camera, sputtering, "This is a private misunderstanding." But it was too late. The story was no longer about a prize. It was about the lie, the neglect. That night, the edited segment aired. It wasn't the 2-minute feel-good story they planned. It was a 5-minute expose. They used my few calm sentences as the centerpiece. They showed my academic records. They interviewed my old high school teacher who said, "In 12 years, I never met Kai's parents. Not once." They even found classmates who repeated the cruel orphan nickname. My phone, which had finally gone quiet, started buzzing again. This time, it wasn't just my parents. It was numbers I didn't know. News outlets. Talk shows. My parents' calls now had a different tone. The anger was gone, replaced by a frantic, wheedling panic. "Kai, baby, we're sorry. We made a mistake. You're our daughter. That house is for all of us." My father's voice cracked. "We're your blood. You can't do this to us." But I could. And I was. A lawyer, seeing the news, called Ms. Alma. He explained the award's fine print. It was awarded to the student and the guardian who attended the ceremony. My parents had no legal standing. He offered to help us for free, to protect the assets from any claim they tried to make. The public became my army. Strangers online sent messages of support. Someone started a fundraiser for my law school tuition that doubled its goal in hours. My parents were being crucified in the court of public opinion, and there was nothing they could do. I had the house. I had the car. I had the money and the world on my side. I had one in every way you can imagine. So why did I feel so empty? Standing in Ms. Alma's quiet living room, holding the keys to a future I'd dreamed of, I felt like I'd lost something, too. I had wanted my parents to love me. Instead, I had to destroy them to be free. The victory was complete, but it tasted like ashes. I had proven I didn't need them. And in doing so, I had finally confirmed what I'd feared my whole life. They never really wanted me at all. The week between the ceremony and New Year's Eve was a strange limbo. The lawyer moved fast. The house was officially in my name, with Ms. Alma listed as a lifelong resident. The money was secured in an account only I could access. Legally, I was safe. Emotionally, I was drifting. I had built my whole life around a single hope that my parents would see me. Now that hope was gone, and I felt untethered. My parents tried everything. They showed up at Ms. Alma's door with gifts they'd never given me. They left voicemail after voicemail, their voices crumbling from anger to bargaining to raw, ugly sobbing. "You've made your point, Kai. Please, we are begging you." But it was too late. Their tears weren't for me. They were for the house, the car, the public shame. I stopped listening. On New Year's Eve morning, my sister, Leah, texted me. It was one word: can we talk? We had never talked. Not really. She was the princess in the tower, and I was the servant who cleaned the moat. I agreed to meet at a neutral coffee shop, far from our street and the news vans. She looked different. Smaller. The usual entitled glow was gone from her face. She didn't order an expensive drink. She just sat down, her hands trembling around a mug of tea. "I watched it all," she said, not looking at me. "The news. The videos people posted online. I read the comments. I saw what they said about you, about what they called you." Her voice broke. "I never knew, Kai. I mean, I knew they doted on me, but I never knew they abandoned you. I never thought about what it meant for you to always be alone." She finally looked up, her eyes full of real tears. Not performative ones. "I'm so sorry. I was so spoiled and selfish, and I just took everything they gave me without looking back to see you weren't getting anything. I'm your sister, and I failed you too." It wasn't a grand speech, but it was real. For the first time in my life, someone in my blood family saw the truth and acknowledged my pain without asking for anything in return. A dam inside me cracked. I didn't forgive her, not yet. But I nodded. "Thank you for saying that." That afternoon, I did something final. With my lawyer, I drafted a formal letter. I informed my parents that I would be pursuing a legal restraining order if they continued to contact me or Ms. Alma. I stated that any further communication about the assets would be considered harassment. I included one line, written by my own hand: "You had a daughter for 22 years. You only wanted her when she came with a price tag." My lawyer sent it. The silence that followed was the real end of my old life. That night, New Year's Eve, Ms. Alma and I didn't go out. We sat in her cozy living room in our pajamas, a small fire in the fireplace. We had takeout food and no cameras. It was peaceful. At 11:50 p.m., my phone lit up. It was a news alert. A local station was doing a year-in-review segment. They showed a clip from my ceremony, then a clip of my parents from earlier that day, looking worn and defeated, refusing to comment as they left a grocery store. The anchor said, "A local story that captured the nation's heart and a stark lesson in where true family value lies." I turned the phone face down. I didn't need to see anymore. Ms. Alma reached over and held my hand. "You built yourself from the ground up, baby. You didn't let them break you. You turned their neglect into your strength. That house isn't your prize. Your life is." The TV countdown began. 10, 9, 8. I thought of the empty house waiting for me, full of new furniture and silence. 7, 6, 5. I thought of my sister's apology, a fragile bridge to maybe, one day, build something new. 4, 3, 2. I looked at Ms. Alma's kind face, lit by the TV screen. 1, Happy New Year. Fireworks exploded on the television. No one was shouting. No one was crying. There was just quiet, solid peace. My revenge was complete. It wasn't about making them poor. It was about making myself free. They took away their love, so I built a life where I didn't need it. I took the prize meant for a good family and used it to create my own. The best part? They have to watch me live well, knowing they are not invited and knowing they have no one to blame but themselves. To any parent listening who sees one child as a star and another as a shadow, be very careful. Children grow up. They keep score in a ledger you never see. And one day, they may hold the keys to everything you ever wanted, and you will have taught them too well how to lock you out. Thank you for listening to my New Year's story. If this reminded you that your worth isn't given by others, but built by you, please hit the like button and subscribe for more stories of turning pain into power.